Welcome to Everyday Yoga, Movement for Life. You know, yoga is an excellent way for people of all ages to keep fit and healthy. Physical movement that's combined with breathing and meditation has many proven benefits, including increased strength, flexibility, and balance. We'll visit yoga and Tai Chi classes in recreation and senior centers all around Fairfax County. Our classes will give you a burst of energy, as well as relaxation and peace of mind. Join us and follow along at the level that's right for you.
Hi, welcome to Everyday Yoga at Spring Hill Rec Center. My name is Kristen, and my friends and I are extremely honored that you've chosen to join us today for your yoga practice. Here at the Fairfax County Park Authority, we have classes for people of all ages and abilities, and we even have classes particularly for older adults, like this one. My friend John, to the left, will be modifying all of our poses today with the use of a chair. Sometimes he'll demonstrate poses actually seated in the chair, and other times he'll be demonstrating standing poses with the use of the chair. Also to my left, my friend Nancy will be demonstrating poses with the use of an AirX pad. To my right, we have Mike. Mike will be demonstrating the use of a bolster. A bolster is a firm cushion, much like a sofa cushion at home, which you might choose to use as your bolster as well. And finally, also to my right, we have Susan, and she'll be demonstrating the fullest expression of each of our poses today. Let's make our way down one knee at a time properly, and coming into a seated position, let's find ourselves placing our thumbs and our index fingers together to express Chin Mudra. Chin Mudra is the sign or seal of awareness. Friends, let's close our eyes and ask ourselves what we're most aware of in our bodies at this very moment. And as we come into the present moment, let's turn our attention to our own breathing. In yoga classes, we do our very best to breathe in and out through our noses only, relaxing our lips, teeth, tongue, and gums. Breathing through our noses helps us maintain heat and moisture inside the body, and it helps us maintain our focus and our awareness. So let's close our eyes once again and continue to breathe. As we breathe in and out through our nostrils, we're going to imagine that our breath is moving through three sections of the trunk. This type of breath is called three-part breath. We're going to let the breath originate below the navel in the diaphragm. We're going to let it rise up through the middle of the ribs and lungs. And finally, we're going to stop it at the top, near the sternum, at the highest portion of the ribs and lungs. On the inhale, we'll imagine the breath like an elevator rising through these three floors. And on the exhalation, we'll allow the elevator to descend back through those three floors to the bottom. So let's practice that breath now. Relaxing our shoulders as we breathe through the three sections of our trunks. Let's become aware of how this deeper, more connected breath causes us to feel. Another way to think of three-part breath is to breathe out the front through the belly, out the sides to the right and left of the rib cage, and out the back body. So let's channel our breath in these three directions, in addition to the three directions of upwards and downwards. Let's take a moment and try that now. Relaxing our shoulders as we go, becoming more and more attuned and attentive to what's going on inside of us instead of what's going on outside of us. Good. And now that we've become more fully present on the mat, let's continue warming up as we move to the 6 major positions of the spine. Let's lift our arms, friends, and inhale. On the exhalation, let's twist to the right, working from the base of the spine up. Inhaling back to center, let's lift our arms and twist to the left, lowering our shoulders and hands. Let's work at our own pace now. Inhaling up and exhaling to the right. Inhaling up and exhaling to the left. Let's try that one more time on each side, shall we? And when we have finished, we will meet back at the top in extended hand pose with our arms lifted overhead. And when we find ourselves there, let's draw our hands together and bring them to the heart center. We're expressing the sign of honor or peace when we bring our hands in a prayer-like position to the heart. The next 2 of the 6 positions of the spine are lateral flexion or side bending right and left. So let's place the right hand down, lifting the left arm, leaning to the right. Feel the space created in the ribs as we do so. Let's inhale, switching, exhaling, leaning to the left. And flowing once again now at our own perfect paces. Let's try to anchor our hip bones down and just feel the lift between the hips and the armpits as we flow side to side. Relaxing our feet and our knees, our fingers and our facial muscles. Let's take a flow one more time to each side. As we continue to breathe, we'll let our arms finally float down and place our fingertips on the mat. Let's roll our shoulders back, resetting our neutral posture before we do the last 2 of the 6 positions of the spine. They're called cat and cow, also known as spinal flexion and extension. Let's take one more really nice big shoulder roll and bring our shoulders to complete stillness. We'll be turning to an all-fours position to the left. Let's transition there now. As we do so, we'll be lining up our knees directly under our hips and our wrists directly under our shoulders. Please notice Nancy behind me is bringing in the Airex pad to cushion her knees. Now, if our wrists are cranky today, we'll be coming up on fists to keep our wrists nice and straight and to take pressure off of them. So let's choose that hand position. Let's bring in those props and line up our joints. Take a deep breath in, friends. On the exhalation, tuck the pelvis and round the spine, letting the head, neck, and shoulders round last. Inhale immediately and release the pelvis. Once again, arching each vertebra one at a time, ending with the head, neck, and shoulders, and then exhaling again to round back into cat, and releasing from the pelvis to inhale into cow. Let's try that once or twice more, working at our own perfect paces again, linking breath with movement. And when we have finished our last 1 or 2 cat-cow flows, let's return our spines to neutral, coming back to a squared off all-fours quadruped position. As we drop to our forearms, we'll gently relax our shoulders away from our ears. Some of us may stack our fists and place our foreheads there. Others of us may choose to bring in a yoga block or a pillow to place our heads on. This is a high version of child's pose. So if we have particularly cranky knees or hips, this can be a really nice option. Others of us may want to set our hips back to our heels and extend our arms in front of us, releasing our foreheads to the floor. And some of us, yet even still, might wish to curl our hands around towards our heels in classic child's pose. Let's find our best expression of child's pose now. And let's remember that should we choose to do so, we can return to this pose at any time during our practice today to take a break. Let's widen our thighs if need be. Let's listen to the wisdom of our bodies and find ourselves in the poses that feel best to us. Gently now, as we bring our hands near our faces, let's press slowly up and pause for just a moment. Let's return to all fours, preparing for spinal balance. Let's realign our knees and our hips and our wrists or fists with our shoulders once again and slide the shoulders away from the ears. Let's go ahead and extend the back arm furthest away from the television and the front leg closest to the television. We can choose to leave our fingertips and toes on the floor, or we can choose to lift them to the height of our backs in the air, drawing a straight line, fingertips to toes. Let's return those levers underneath us and choose the other arm and leg as a pair, taking them where it feels right for them to go. And let's begin to flow now as we alternate these levers, working through spinal balance, linking breath with movement, keeping our necks in line with our spines. Notice John in the chair and the options that he's offering. Let's try that 1, maybe 2 more times on each side, friends. And when we have finished, let's find ourselves sitting back into child's pose, taking a break. Notice John taking his elbows to his thighs, finding his best expression of child's pose. Let's take a few more deep, deep breaths. And when we feel ready, let's gently lift our heads from the floor and pause. Let's walk our hands more closely to our knees and rise to a kneeling position. When we get there, let's roll our shoulders back and down, resetting our neutral posture. We are preparing to stand to continue our warm-up. So let's return our shoulders to complete stillness and choose one leg, bring it out in front of us like a step stool. We're going to use this leg for support as we stand safely and carefully. Facing forward, let's find mountain pose, placing our feet hip distance apart, grounding through the foundations of our feet. As we hug the muscles of the legs gently to the bones of the legs, let's find ourselves standing with integrity but not stress. Our hip bones are level. Our ribs are lifted off of our diaphragms. Our collarbones are wide and our shoulders are rolled down and back. Let's allow our arms to rest effortlessly at our sides with our palms facing forward. This particular arm position keeps our shoulders in anatomic neutral. Our throats are soft, but perhaps we'd like to swallow once or twice to relax them even more. And our faces are relaxed and at ease. The crown of the head reaches for the ceiling. Let's stand in what we perceive to be our best posture, mountain pose. As we begin our next flow, let's lift our arms to the sky, inhaling. Let's bring our hands to the heart, creasing the hips and knees, sitting into an imaginary chair. Take a moment and look down. Let's make sure that we can see the tops of our feet. If we let our knees go forward, it's too stressful for our knee joints. So instead of moving from our knees, let's crease our hips and move from there. Let's reverse the swan dive. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come back down into chair pose using a hand position of your own choosing, whatever that happens to be. Release and reverse. Inhale, exhale, and flow into chair. Let's work at our own perfect pace as we try 1, perhaps 2 more chair flows. And the next time we all find chair, let's meet there, shall we? From here, let's fold over, allowing the crowns of our heads to point towards the floor, coming into full forward fold. As we allow the crown of the head to point towards the floor, we will gaze back through our thighs, choosing the position that suits us best, perhaps using a block to bring the floor up to our hands. Take a deep breath in, friends, and on the exhalation, come halfway up, lifting, looking up and extending, straightening our legs, our arms, and our spines. Sometimes we're more comfortable in a higher version of this position, and sometimes a lower version suits us best. Let's refold into full forward fold, bending our knees deeply, letting the crown of the head point to the floor. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhalation, come halfway up, lift, look up, and extend into the best version of half forward fold for your body. Let's return to chair. Inhale, exhale, hand position of choice. Let's reverse the swan dive, reaching up and coming back on the exhale into Tadasana or mountain pose. Let's put all of these asana together in a flow, shall we? Inhale to prepare, lift. Exhale, swan dive forward on softly bending knees, coming into full forward fold. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, lift, look up, extend, half forward fold. Let's find chair on our next breath cycle. Inhale, exhale, hand position of choice. Reverse the swan dive, please. Inhale, exhale, swan dive forward on softly bending knees, full seated or standing forward fold. Take a deep breath in, lift, look up, extend, half forward fold, sliding the shoulders away from the ears. Notice the hamstrings lengthening in this position in the standing version. Take a deep breath in for chair, please. Inhale, exhale, hand position of choice, protecting the knees, creasing the hips deeply. Reverse the swan dive. Inhale, and let's exhale back into Tadasana or mountain pose. We're ready for a work phase. Let's step a little more widely, shall we? As we come into an angle series, let's turn the left foot away and let's angle the right foot in such that the left heel is in line with the right instep. Once we have that in place, let's gently soften the left knee. Placing our left hand on top of the thigh, lift the right arm, and let's find ourselves in side angle. Please allow the palm to face forward, keeping that shoulder in anatomic neutral. If our shoulder is feeling stressed, perhaps we'd like to bind the arm down as we're demonstrating now. We can slip that hand into the small of the back, or we can simply place the hand on the hip if that feels more comfortable. Let's turn our chest a little more forward and perhaps turn the head and neck and the gaze point, or the drishti, it's called in Sanskrit, over to the right. Releasing now into extended side angle. Let's take the arm over the ear, deepening and extending the pose, finishing the line that we began, grounding from the foot on the floor all the way up through the knee, hip, shoulder, and now overhead all the way out into a full extension. Take a moment and look down and check the relationship of the left knee to the ankle. Let's make sure that the knee is not rolling into the big toe, but instead tracking the center of the foot. As we release the lifted arm, let's rise up and straighten both legs. Finishing our turn, let's make a quarter turn more fully to the left. Let's keep our feet about 2 to 3 feet apart, straight legs, and we're coming into pyramid pose. Growing tall through the crown of the head, inhale, exhale, crease the hips and gently extend the spine forward, reaching out of the hips and through the crown of the head, finding a point of connection between the hands and the body, or the hands and the block, or the hands and the floor. Notice the gentle tension of the hamstring of the forward leg in this pose. If it's too intense, put a small micro bend in that forward knee to release the hamstrings. Let's unhinge and rise up. Turning to the center, let's find 5-pointed star. Opening our hands like starfish, let's bend and extend our knees and elbows as we slide down the imaginary wall behind us. Working at our own tempos once again, perhaps building a little more heat. Thinking more about the width of the pose and not so much the depth of it. Checking in with the relationship between our knees and our ankles and feet. The next time we find ourselves at the top of the movement, let's all meet there. And once we have arrived, let's fold into sunflowers, making a squat, letting the arms slide down and then float back up. Inhaling and exhaling, linking breath with movement, enjoying the flow and the ability to move in such a wide fashion. We don't often get to move like this in our daily lives. Beautiful. The next time we find ourselves at the top of this movement, let's all meet there. And once arriving, let's open our arms and settle our shoulders and return to 5-pointed star. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhalation, let's lower the arms and angle our feet to the right. Lining up the right heel with the left instep, let's soften that right knee once more and find a point of connection there. Lifting the left arm, we'll allow the palm to face forward, coming into side angle once again. Let's go ahead and check in with that knee that's forward and make sure it's not rolling into the big toe. Let's gently push it back and track it right over the center of the foot, mindful that we're keeping equal weight on both feet. Take a deep breath in, friends, and on the exhalation, let's bind the arm either to the hip or into the small of the back, allowing us to open our chest a little more, allowing us to rotate our spines a little bit more. And if we'd like, we can certainly turn that gaze to the left if we haven't already. Deep breaths, relaxed faces, fingers, and feet. We have equal weight on both feet. On our next breath cycle, let's lift the arm out of the bind and extend it straight over the ear, linking the line of the arm with the line of the leg. Coming into extended side angle. Please notice the various modifications behind me and choose the one that suits your body best today. And remember, we're choosing based on feeling, not on thought. As we relax our shoulder down into the imaginary back pocket of the back, let's gently release the arm down, rising up, straightening both legs, and finishing that full quarter turn. Turning into pyramid pose, straightening our legs, creasing and hinging at the hips, coming into our best expression of pyramid pose. And mind you, you might make different choices on this side. It might feel differently on this side than it did on the first side. Use those props, make any modification that feels right to your body. This is your practice today. Let's unhinge the hips and rise up, turning back to center for 5-pointed star. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, soften the knees and elbows and sink and slide down the imaginary wall behind, allowing the palms to face upwards like a pair of scales. This is sun pose. Once again, we're going to focus on the width of this pose, closing our shoulder blades behind us, opening and expanding the heart. Tracking our knees directly over the centers of our feet, opening the hips and the pelvic floor. Steady as she goes. Let's keep equal weight on both feet. Rising up, inhale. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Let's walk our feet together and prepare for a short balance series. I'd like to invite us to step off of the mat today to the wooden floor. Sometimes we're a little more steady on a wooden floor, but if you're on carpet today or you're standing on a yoga mat, you might wish to follow John, who in a moment will be demonstrating a standing chair option for tree. Let's come into mountain pose, shall we? As we commit our weight to that foot, let's hug the muscles of the standing leg very gently to the bones of the standing leg, and that will free up the left leg. And then we can simply externally rotate from the hip and turn it outwards. Let's bring our hands to the heart if we haven't already. This is tree pose. Roll the shoulders back and down, lift the ribs off the diaphragm, breathe deeply and breathe well. Balance poses can be challenging and sometimes we bobble a little bit, and that's okay. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, if we feel ready, we might choose to transition the foot to the inside of the calf. Notice some of my friends behind me may be choosing to keep their toes on the floor. Either way is fine. Do what feels best. On our next breath cycle, we might choose to change the branches of our tree. Let's take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, perhaps we'd like to change our arms, making sure that any change does not negatively affect our breathing or our posture or the positioning of our shoulders or our foundational feet. Let's gently lower our arms and bring our feet back to Tadasana. Well done. We're ready for tree on the other side. So let's commit our weight to the tripod of the left foot and gently turn out the right. Let's find our hands floating to our hearts once again. Just take a moment, friends, and check in. And let's see how we're feeling. On our next breath cycle, we might choose to transition the foot. Inhale, please. Exhale and make a wise choice. Let's continue to check in with the standing leg and make sure that we're hugging those muscles to those bones in a way that gives us integrity and stability. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, let's transition our arms into a different place should we choose to do so. Please remember, everything that I offer is simply an invitation. And you can choose to keep what I offer or not. Let's release our hands and our legs back to the floor, coming to mountain pose. Let's take a deep breath in, lift the arms to the sky. Swan dive forward on softly bending knees, coming into full forward fold. As we get ready to transition to the floor, take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, let's drop down one knee at a time and slip over onto the mat. John will be transitioning back into the chair. Well done on that balanced tree series, friends. We're ready for boat pose now. Now, you may never have done this before, but sometimes in seated positions it's very helpful if we reach back and we remove the large seat muscle called the gluteus maximus off of the skeletal sit bones. This will give us more stability and evenness in our seated, grounded poses. Let's gather our hands underneath our legs, relaxing our shoulders down and back. Let's open the creases of our hips as we gently lean back. Now, this is not to be done by collapsing. We want to keep the sternum up as if there's a helium balloon tied to it, always lifting our ribs up, but letting our shoulders slide downward. Let's prop on our heels. And if we choose to do so, we can just take one hand away at a time, and this might be enough boat pose for some of us today. Others of us may choose to keep our hands connected to our legs and simply lift one foot at a time. Other options might include lifting both legs into the air and maintaining that good posture, shoulders down, hearts bright. And even from here, friends, we can choose to release our arms one at a time or both at the same time. Let's choose the version of boat that's best for us today. Breathe deeply, breathe well. Let's relax our arms and our legs back down to the floor. We have practiced well, and we're getting ready for final relaxation. I'd like to offer some different options and choices. Perhaps you have a towel or an eye bag or a t-shirt that you'd like to cover the face with to block out the light so that you'll be more comfortable and more introspective. So let's gather the things that we need now. Sometimes it's really nice to cover the body with a lap throw or a blanket. My friends will be demonstrating the use of props today. John is going to choose to place his feet on blocks and sit back against his chair back. Nancy is going to be using her Arex pad behind her head to support her head and neck and allow her shoulders to relax. To my right, Mike is going to be demonstrating the use of the bolster and placing it under his knees to release his low back. So let's gather our props and go there now, turning to the left, bringing our seat down to our feet, and gently lowering our bodies down, rolling slowly and carefully there. Some of us may choose to make a tripod by placing our knees together and our feet apart, releasing the low back. And some of us may choose to place our hands on our chests and our bellies, connecting to our breath once again. Now, classic Shavasana or final relaxation finds our legs and arms straightening and separating a comfortable distance from the midline of the body with our palms up to relax our shoulders. No matter what version we're choosing, we want to find a place where we needn't guard, lift, or hold anything, but instead we want to find a place where everything can be in complete surrender to the chair or to the floor. So as we find our best positions for final relaxation and as we close our eyes, let's return to deep introspective breathing. If unwelcome thoughts begin to invade or intrude, simply note and acknowledge them and allow them to pass by. Let's return again and again to our breathing. With every exhalation, let's invite a greater measure of release and relaxation. Thank you for your patience, your courage, and your strength. The light in me honors and salutes the light in each of you. Namaste.